What if I told you that the most dependable support you'll have after 60 isn't your family, but something else entirely? It might sound strange at first. After all, we've been raised to believe that family is the safety net we can always fall back on. And for some, that remains true. But for many older adults, especially once we reach our 60s and beyond, the reality can look quite different. Children grow busy with their own lives. Spouses may pass, and friends, no matter how close they once were, may drift apart or move away. It's not personal, it's life. And it's something nearly every senior experiences sooner or later. That's why today's video is so important. We're not here to criticize family. We're here to talk honestly about what really sustains you day in and day out when you're in your 60s, 70s or 80s and need strength, stability, and something you can rely on that doesn't depend on someone else showing up. We'll be exploring 5 essential pillars that, in many cases, turn out to be stronger than family. These are the things that quietly carry you when no one's calling, when you're not invited, when you don't want to burden anyone, or when you simply want to stand tall on your own 2 feet with peace and dignity. So stay with me, because what you're about to learn could change the way you look at your future and give you the foundation to feel safer, more supported, and more secure than you've felt in years. Let's get started. Pillar 1, your physical health habits. The first pillar of support that stands stronger than family after 60 is your physical health habits. Because when your body is strong, when your joints still bend, your legs still walk, and your lungs still pull in air with ease, you don't just feel better, you live better. You move through the world on your own terms, and that right there is one of the greatest forms of freedom there is. See, many people assume that support means someone doing things for you, bringing groceries, driving you to the doctor, holding your hand down the stairs. But what if you didn't need someone to do those things for you? What if you could do them yourself, safely, confidently, and without second-guessing every step? That's the gift of taking care of your physical health. Not just in crisis, but consistently. It's the quiet investment that pays off day after day, whether or not someone shows up to help. I've seen it time and time again. 2 people, both in their 70s. One walks daily, stretches in the morning, lifts light weights, and drinks water like it's medicine. The other shrugs, says it's too late, and sits most of the day in a recliner. Fast forward a few years, and their lives look completely different. One still gets up with ease, showers without assistance, and can cook, clean, and even travel with minimal effort. The other needs help just getting in and out of bed. This isn't about shame, it's about truth. Because the small, simple habits you do every day, things like walking, standing, squatting, stretching, those are the things that keep you steady. They keep you balanced. They keep you out of the emergency room. And most importantly, they keep you in your home, living your life the way you want to, instead of relying on others for every little thing. And here's the part no one tells you: the stronger your body is, the less afraid you are. You're not terrified of a fall in the shower. You're not anxious about carrying a bag of groceries or standing too long in a checkout line. You don't say no to invitations because you're scared. You won't have the stamina. Physical strength reduces fear. It replaces worry with capability. And that gives you power, not over others, but over your own experience. And the beauty is, the more you move, the more your body rewards you. Joints loosen, muscles strengthen, digestion improves, sleep deepens, and confidence begins to rebuild. One step, one breath, one little victory at a time. When you prioritize your physical health habits, no matter how old you are, you build something incredibly rare in this world. Reliable support that doesn't disappear. Your body may age, but it doesn't have to collapse. It can adapt. It can strengthen. It can show up for you if you show up for it. So before you count on someone else to help you up, make sure you've done your part to stay standing. Your independence may depend on it more than you know. Pillar 2, a daily sense of purpose. The second pillar that can become even more supportive than family after 60 is a daily sense of purpose. Not a lifelong mission, not some grand legacy project. Just a reason to get up in the morning that belongs entirely to you. Quiet, personal, and strong enough to pull you forward when the rest of the world seems to pass you by. You see, when we're younger, our purpose is usually defined by other people. We raise children. We work jobs. We take care of aging parents. We're constantly needed, constantly scheduled, constantly serving. But once the calendar empties out and the house grows quiet, something unsettling can happen. You wake up one day and wonder, what now? And that question, if left unanswered, can begin to slowly erode your spirit. That's why purpose becomes one of the most critical forms of emotional support in our later years. It gives structure to your day, meaning to your efforts, and dignity to your decisions. It tells your mind and your heart, I still matter. I still contribute. I still have something to offer. Without it, even the most loving family can't fill that void. And the truth is, your purpose doesn't have to be flashy or world-changing. It just has to be real. For some people, it's a daily walk to pick up litter and keep their neighborhood clean. For others, it's tending a small garden, writing letters, feeding birds, or checking on a neighbor. One 74-year-old man I knew named Harold woke up every morning and baked muffins. Yes, muffins, and dropped them off at the senior center down the street. He said, it gives me something to do, and I like seeing people smile. That's purpose. And here's the psychological truth of it. When you stop feeling useful, your body starts to agree. Studies have shown that seniors with a sense of daily purpose have lower rates of depression, better cognitive function, and even improved heart health. Because when your mind has a reason to stay engaged, your body follows. Purpose becomes a compass. And without it, many drift. So ask yourself, what gives me meaning today? Not someday, not 5 years from now. What lifts your spirit? What pulls you forward? If you don't know yet, that's okay. Start small. Try new things. Listen to your heart and see what stirs when you let yourself be needed again. By a task, a hobby, a community, or even a single other person. Because once you find it and you keep showing up to it, it becomes like a light inside you. Not blinding, but steady. And on the days when no one calls, and you feel like you're just floating through, that light keeps you grounded. That's real support. And it's something no family member can create for you. You must create it for yourself. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Pillar 3, meaningful chosen community. The third pillar of support after 60, often more dependable than even family, is the community you choose. Not the one you were born into, not the one that happens by default, but the one you intentionally build, nurture, and show up for day after day. Even if it starts with just one person, there's something profoundly different between being surrounded by people and actually feeling connected. Some seniors live with family and still feel invisible. Others live alone but feel deeply seen by friends, neighbors, or even a small group they meet every Thursday for coffee. That's the power of a chosen community. It's not based on obligation or blood. It's based on mutual respect, shared values, and consistency. And most of all, it's something you control. As we get older, our social circle naturally shrinks. People move, friends pass, kids build their own lives. And if we don't actively replenish that circle with meaningful connections, isolation can creep in before we even realize it. But here's what most people don't talk about. Loneliness isn't just emotional, it's physical. It affects your immune system, your heart health, even your memory. Researchers have said it's as damaging to the body as smoking. A pack of cigarettes a day. That's how vital connection is. But connection doesn't mean constant chatter or hosting dinner parties every week. It can be quiet. It can be simple. Sometimes it's just a warm nod to the cashier who knows your name, or sitting on the same park bench where another regular greets you. Sometimes it's a church group, a knitting circle, or a few folks who meet for board games. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be yours. I once knew a woman named Carol, 68, who said the loneliest she ever felt was not when she was living alone, but when she moved in with her daughter and son-in-law. I was physically there, but emotionally I didn't belong, she said. They were busy, they were kind, but I was just there. She later joined a community walking group, just a handful of seniors who walked 2 miles together every morning. She said, they became my people. I laughed more in that group than I had in years. That's the power of chosen community. One of the most dangerous traps seniors fall into is believing that if family isn't calling or visiting, they're just stuck being alone. But connection doesn't have to come through family. It often doesn't. You have every right to build a new circle, even at 70, 75, 80. You are not too old to start. You are not too late to matter. And the truth is, there are more lonely people out there than you think, just waiting for someone like you to say hello. So here's the simple truth. A chosen community may not tuck you in at night, but it reminds you you're alive. It's the smile at the pharmacy, the neighbor who brings you soup, the friend who says same time next week. It's the rhythm of shared moments that create belonging, not through blood, but through intention. Family is wonderful when it shows up, but community, the one you build, is often the one that stays. It doesn't care about inheritance or obligation. It just wants to see you smile. And that kind of support, my friend, is not only real, it's renewable. Every day, by choice. Pillar 4, a resilient and self-renewing mindset. Now let's talk about the fourth pillar, and it's the one most folks overlook, even though it quietly influences every other part of your life. After 60, one of the strongest forms of support isn't a person or a thing. It's your mindset. And no, I'm not talking about just being positive or thinking happy thoughts. I mean the deep internal resilience that lets you face loss, change, and uncertainty, and still get up the next day with purpose. Because here's the truth most people don't tell you: aging isn't just a physical journey. It's a psychological one. Your body may slow down, but your thoughts, your attitude, that's still yours to steer. And when you've lived long enough to see friends pass, routines dissolve, roles disappear, you realize that emotional strength doesn't come from pretending everything's fine. It comes from adapting, from processing, from deciding every morning to participate in your life. You see, a resilient mindset is what allows you to cope, but more importantly, to recover. It's what makes the difference between a person who says, everything's falling apart, and a person who says, this is tough, but I can figure it out. That difference might sound subtle, but over time it shapes your entire reality. Because the way you see your world determines how you show up in it. I knew a man named Walter. He was 77 when his wife passed, and he told me, at first I didn't know who I was without her. We'd been married 52 years. I thought, well, that's it. That was the best part of my story. But after a few months of sitting in silence, he started doing one small thing each day. Just one. Watering the flowers. Calling an old friend. Little by little, he said, I remembered I was still here. And that's the kind of mindset I'm talking about. Not a denial of pain, but a slow return to life. One step at a time. There's a powerful study that followed older adults for over a decade. The folks who lived the longest didn't have the most money. They didn't necessarily have the biggest families or the least health issues. But they did have one thing in common: they believed their future still mattered, that they still had something to offer, something to experience. That belief alone added years, not just to their lifespan, but to their sense of aliveness. And here's where it gets even more real. A strong mindset isn't about always being upbeat. It's about staying engaged, willing to learn, even if your hands shake while holding the book, willing to grow, even if it means letting go of old habits, willing to feel, even if it hurts sometimes. That kind of mindset isn't flashy, but it's powerful, and it protects you from the invisible dangers of aging, like hopelessness, helplessness, and disconnection. There's something else too. When you build this pillar inside yourself, you become a source of strength, not just for you, but for others. Your grandkids see you still reading, still walking, still laughing, still trying, and it teaches them something that can't be found in textbooks: how to endure with grace. That's not just power. That's freedom. And that freedom might just be the strongest support you'll ever have. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Pillar 5, a sense of purpose that outlives expectations. Here's a truth that hits harder the older we get. After 60, the world stops asking what you want to become. Most people assume your story's already written, your purpose already spent. But that's the exact reason why this 5th pillar is so vital. A sense of purpose, one that's self-chosen, not assigned by others, isn't just comforting. It's life-extending. Let's talk about what that really means. Because purpose isn't about a job title or a big mission. It doesn't have to be something dramatic or public. Sometimes purpose is as simple as being the one who still checks in on a lonely neighbor, being the keeper of family recipes, being the person who still remembers the birthdays of those who've forgotten their own. These roles may seem small, but for the one living them, they offer structure, meaning, and dignity. You see, when we lose a sense of purpose, something inside us begins to unravel. The days blur, motivation dries up, and our connection to the world begins to fade. That's not just emotional, it's biological. Studies have shown that seniors with a strong sense of purpose sleep better, have lower rates of stroke, and are significantly more likely to live longer. Why? Because purpose gives the brain a reason to keep firing. It gives the body a reason to move. It gives the soul a reason to stay awake. I met a woman named Helen once, 82 years old, who made quilts for children entering foster care. She didn't do it for praise or recognition. In fact, very few people even knew she was doing it. She said, "When I sew, I feel useful. And when I imagine those kids holding something soft that says, 'You matter,' it reminds me that I still matter too." That right there is what we're talking about. Purpose isn't about what the world thinks of you. It's about what you know you're here to do. And let's be honest, after a certain age, family may not lean on you the same way they once did. Your kids have their own lives. Your spouse may be gone. Old friends may not call as often. And while that can feel lonely, it can also be freeing. Because now you get to build your purpose on your own terms. You're no longer working to prove anything. You're building something because it matters to you. That's power. Now, some people might say, "But I don't have a purpose anymore. I'm too old to start something new." To that I say, nonsense. Your purpose doesn't have to be new. It just has to be real. Maybe it's writing letters. Maybe it's planting flowers. Maybe it's mentoring someone younger. Maybe it's telling your story so that someone else feels less alone. If it lights something in you and helps someone else, it counts. And remember, purpose can evolve. What was meaningful to you at 40 may not be what fuels you now. That's normal. The goal isn't to cling to the old version of yourself. It's to listen for what's calling you now. What draws your attention? What gives you that quiet satisfaction, that sense of contribution? That's where your purpose lives today. So let's be very clear. This fifth pillar is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Without a sense of purpose, it becomes dangerously easy to drift. But with it, even the simplest moments become charged with meaning. Your presence matters. Your actions matter. And the world, whether it says it aloud or not, still needs you. If you're feeling a little lost right now, I get it. But don't give up on the idea that something beautiful still wants to grow through you. Water it with your attention, tend it with your time, and trust that it can still blossom no matter your age. That quiet flame inside, that's your purpose. Protect it. Let it guide you. Because after 60, the world may not always show up for you. But your sense of purpose, that's the one support that never stops showing up with you. It grows when you grow. It stays when others walk away. And it reminds you every single day you still matter. Final thoughts. If you've made it this far, I want to thank you for walking this path with me. What we've talked about today isn't easy, it's not flashy, and it's not something most people will bring up over coffee. But it's real. And for those of us who've lived enough life to know what matters and what doesn't, it might just be the most important conversation of all. You see, when we're young, support seems automatic. You've got parents, siblings, friends, coworkers, spouses. You're part of something. But after 60, that scaffolding starts to change. People move away. Loved ones pass on. Priorities shift. And suddenly, many of the things you once leaned on are gone. That's why waiting for support to arrive on its own just doesn't work anymore. At this stage of life, support isn't something that happens to you. It's something you build. And the pillars we've discussed today, self-reliance, health discipline, financial awareness, community bonds, and a strong sense of purpose, aren't just nice to have. They're essential. They're the quiet forces that hold you up when things around you start to fall. They don't always get the spotlight. They may not show up on holiday cards or family trees, but they are yours, built by you, sustained by you. And there's something profoundly empowering about that. Because here's the truth, most people never say out loud, family is wonderful until it isn't. And depending too heavily on anyone, even those you love deeply, can backfire. It's not about bitterness or cynicism. It's about reality. People change. And when your emotional survival hinges on someone else doing the right thing, you're setting yourself up for heartbreak. That's why these 5 pillars matter so deeply. They don't waver. They don't disappear. And they don't forget to call. So here's what I'll leave you with. Build your supports. Strengthen them little by little. And don't wait for the world or even your family to do it for you. You are not alone and you are not helpless. In fact, you may be stronger than you've ever been. Not because life is easy now, but because you've lived enough to know what truly matters. And you're finally ready to choose it. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.